BlueSpecs beer reviews, and I'm here with my final beer review of the night. This is my revisiting of New Belgium's 1554 Black Lager. So, the beer 1554 is one of New Belgium's most widely renowned and most famous beers. The other one is probably their Fat Tire. This plus Fat Tire are probably their biggest, I guess, their most famous beers. Like when I think New Belgium, I think of Fat Tire, I think of 1554, um, and possibly the Ranger and the Rampant IPAs. But those two are the main ones. So I had this a long time ago when I first started doing beer reviews, and I've had it a few times since, but I don't think I've done a revisit of it. So this beer gets a 3.86 out of 5 on Beer Advocate, and it is 5.6% alcohol by volume. Let's dive into this. I should have got my other glass, but since this is a lager, I wouldn't typically put a lager in this glass, in this tulip glass, but either way, we're doing it. So with that pour, we have about a finger and a half of caramel, or not caramel, but like a light brown colored head. The body is it's very dark body. Looks clear to me. I see the bubbles going upward. It's a very dark brown. Some ruby highlights coming through. Let's go ahead and get a smell. This is inspired by a book from 1554. This centuries-old black lager recipe reveals a light, dry, chocolatey finish. I knew I wanted to read something off of that, so I'm getting like a nutty, chocolatey sort of smell. Let's go ahead and take a sip here. Oh, that finish is chocolatey. That like the chocolate really comes at the end. It really kind of comes through. So at first, it's a nice dark roasted malt sort of thing. This I think is another beer like the St. Adams Winter Lager. This is another great beer to have when it's fucking cold out like this. I think I said fuck in every video I've done tonight. I need to watch my fucking language. This is. I remember, I haven't had this in maybe a year or two. I think just a year, but I'm kind of called back to why this was so amazing for me when I first started drinking craft beer. Like when I first started drinking craft beer, I don't know if I'd call this craft beer. New Belgium is out of Fort Collins, Colorado, and they do mass produce things, so they're kind of getting bigger to the point where I wouldn't call this craft beer anymore. But back when I was starting to branch out in my beer drinking endeavors, when I first had this, I was kind of blown away a little bit. My palate when I was 21 to about 23 was a bit weak. I wasn't very, you know, I didn't have a palate that could handle big stouts or big quads and crazy stuff like that. Like I wasn't, but this was like groundbreaking for me. This was huge, and I loved this, and I was freaking out about how good this was. So this is one of my first beers, like my first, different beers that I had, like when I was trying to branch out of the macro lager stuff. This is one of the first ones I had, and this was kind of, a big deal for me. Very nice, lightly roasted malts. Bit of a nutty thing happening, a bit of a sugary aspect, and then that chocolate just really dominates that finish. Wow, it's really nice. And it's like just how good this is brings me back to that point. Brings me back to 2010 to 2013, or 2011 to 2013. Brings me back to that time. I was first starting to get into this stuff, get into this hobby of drinking beer. finding different stuff to try and stuff like that. This is fantastic. I don't see why anyone would dislike this unless they disliked everything in it, unless they dislike chocolate and dark bread and like a nuttiness type of thing. The feel is light medium. It does have some body to it, so it's going to be good for this month and next month and the month after when it's still cold. Has a nice crisp flavor, semi-dry. This is a solid A. I don't think that I could go any lower than that. It has great flavor, great everything. I highly recommend this beer. I don't know. It's just I'm kind of in thought right now, just because of how like drinking this right now. Back before they had this labels, back when they had the old red labels, and they had like a old like drawn picture on it. Back before these new ones, brings me back to that point. So let me know your thoughts on the new Belgium 1554 Black Lager. Thank you very much for watching.